Hello YouTube, it's Clormo with another Logic Pro X tutorial. I'm gonna talk about a little bit of some exercises in Alchemy. So for the next 2, 3, 4 videos, I want to cover a few things. More importantly than anything, it's to go back to a few of the presets or how to tweak and make synthesis using presets, which is, for those of you that don't know or don't remember, it's just the usual presets that Alchemy itself is going to give you, and it's going to have a certain set of parameters already included and samples and sources, etc., and you can create your own, and you can create and save them, right, and add them to the library and create sounds that way. Then I want to go with some sound creation from scratch. Note that it's not going to be like this workshop that I want to make in sound designing. It's just going to be kind of a way of introducing that to you now that we have covered everything, every parameter in Alchemy and every little module and section of it. Now concentrate more on tweaking sounds, existing sounds to create our own, creating sounds from scratch. And then from there, I'll talk a little bit about morphing and how to manipulate morphing, because that's a big feature that Alchemy has, and also create some melodies and those type of things. So without further ado, I want to go into Logic Pro X, but as usual, if you are watching me for the first time or you haven't done it yet, I kindly ask you to subscribe to my channel if you at least like one of the videos that I have in there. I have many videos. I don't even remember how much I have done so far and how many videos I have, but if you at least like one, please subscribe to my channel so I can get to more people that at least like that same video that you did. And if you like this tutorial or any others, please like them. Do the same if you didn't like them. I don't mind. It's just feedback for me to get better, or what to pay attention on and what to focus my efforts on. And you can contact me through the videos by commenting, or the inbox, or any other of the social media platforms that I'm at, which should be somewhere around here, and some fancy graphic with a lot of icons for different social media venues. And now let's go into Logic Pro X. So what I have here, right, it's just the basic browse view of Alchemy. And there's a few things that I want to do as far as for this video, which is going to be just basic synthesis tweaks. So you know from watching the series that we have thousands of ready-made presets that we can go in and play with. Maybe some of them give us what we want. Maybe we wish we had just that little tweak here and there that will give us the exact sound that we're looking for. But that's why we have those presets for. We have them as a canvas to start from, and they're a great resource for getting inspired and making your own things. And not only that, but they also gives you a little insight into the mind of the person that designed that sound. So obviously somebody worked in creating this program and creating Alchemy and programming it and creating that custom preset and naming it that way, all of that stuff. So that gives you a good insight also into the sound designer's mind, and then you can probably learn from there and find a few that are more close to your style of music, and it will help you speed up the process of you creating sounds. And I usually say I like to be efficient in speeding up things, but that's because I'm an engineer, and where I work, there's a lot of demand to try to make our processes faster and more efficient and better and all that stuff. And I try to apply some of the stuff that I have learned there, quality radio stuff, into my workflow as well. So I hope that this also kind of helps you, or that you at least don't get the impression that when I say making things faster, it's just making them faster just for the sake of it. No, it's just that if you find things that are more in tune with what your type of music is and your type of sound, then concentrate on those. You know, don't you can go into the others, right? There's nothing holding you from doing that. But in the beginning, when you master the instrument, or if you really know what you want, then there are ways to help you make you more efficient, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into the advanced view for a second. Remember that we already saw all of these parameters. So doing basic synthesis tweaks is gonna necessitate for us to be in the advanced view, because this is where we have all the parameters where we can actually edit and do some tweaks. It doesn't mean that we cannot make some tweaks on the simple view, right? Because we have the perform section and we can tweak some of these knobs around. Same with the browse view, but I want to go to advanced just so that we get used to seeing every parameter and how the interaction between them goes, right? This is the thing that we should be striving to work into. We should be striving to work in, if we want to keep going with Alchemy and give it a chance, a more serious chance, right? We need to get used to working in advanced view and seeing all parameters at one point. So the very first thing that I want to do is how to use the performance and effect controls to tweak a sound. So let's go here into the preset field, and let's just choose the very first one, 12 strings preset. And let's see, we're in the advanced view, and now we're in the perform section. So let's concentrate a little bit more in this area for now. I don't have any information here, so if I hit play, I'm not gonna really produce any sound. So the first thing I want to do is also, I'm gonna bring one of those 12 string normal 2-bar 12 string instruments. We can delete the custom one that we brought, and now we have some sound there. I'm gonna bring the levels down a little bit. Gonna activate the cycle. So that's what we have, right? And now we're working with that 12 strings. So notice that was just for this plug plus pad. So what can we do to just tweak what we have already from this 12 strings preset? Let's just drag let's start by dragging the bracket from the transform pad around as the music is playing, or as that loop is playing. Notice how that just a subtle movement gives me a different sound. And explore that. Explore what the transform pads have. And let's say that you wanna more in the middle here, like something like that, or perhaps you want something like that. So what I'm trying to show here is that you don't need to really just go by one. Notice here my transform squares here, you know, the X and Y parameters still change even if I am like halfway into different pads, and that's going to give me a separate or a different result, right? So explore those, right? Go around and see how the sound is morphing between the different sound variations. And then if you like one, let's say I was a little bit more keen in doing that. So I kind of like that. So let's do one thing. Let's do a save as. And now that's going to be saved already inside the proper folder. If you want to expand that, you're gonna see that it goes into plugin settings, Alchemy, and then it's gonna save it in the presets library. And let's see, just do a save as, and for the sake of this example, let's call it 12 strings example. And now it's saved there. And notice how the name changed. So now that is kind of like a separate preset that you have. Notice that we didn't do anything. Like we just put this performance squares in that section. We really didn't change any of the parameters. But when you bring up your let's go back to 12 strings. You see, it's gonna bring your new preset exactly where you saved it. So that at least gives you, if you just want to work with that specific sound that you achieved by exploring one of the existing presets and existing performance pads, then your preset, when you load it, it's gonna fall exactly where you did the save as. So that's just a very simple way of you taking an existing preset, moving it around to something that you like, do a save as. That also is true if you were to tweak any of the other parameters around. It's just going to bring you that preset with those tweaks that you made, and maybe that's what you want to do to be a little bit more efficient. Give it a name and say, okay, oh, I finally found this exact sound that I was looking for. You do a preset, you save it with a distinctive name, you have it available, and you don't have to do anything else, right? Because you now have your sound, and all you need to do is concentrate on your melodies and all the other good stuff, right, that we as musicians like to do. So that's a good thing. And now let's do the following. Let's go back to that 12 strings. Before I do that, actually, if you want, right, also, you have the 12 strings example. Let's go to browse, and let's say that you want to make it a favorite. Let's say you put a 5-star rating on it. Now let me change to the 12 strings. Actually, let me just do one thing. Let me just go to all. Well, this one is still gonna be on the top because it's its name, right? But if I were to filter by rating, obviously the very first one is going to be that 5-star rating, which is the only one in this case, in this example. That's also a good way of keeping your favorites organized and your favorite sounds, your go-to sounds. Like, you probably want to still go to a certain bass, or bass I should say. We're not fishing here. You want to go to your favorite bass sounds, or guitar or synth sounds, and you have them organized there in your little browse view if you organize them by rating. So let's go back to the 12 strings. We're back with the 12 strings. We're here with the with this plug plus pad. Let's start playing that. And now let's set, so we have that pad, we're working with that pad. Let's go now to some of these parameters, these performance parameters. Let's go to the pad cutoff, and let's drag that to 0. See what that does. And now let's do the attack also. Bring it to 0. Let's also drag the cutoff envelope now to 100. And now let's set that release. Where's my release here? Oh, my release is over here, obviously, in the envelope. Take that to 100. And notice now that I did just a very subtle tweak and gave it a little bit more of a little distortion at the end. And now for this, just excuse me for a second, I'm gonna turn on my keyboard So I'm not gonna auto assign anything. This is what happens when you lose all your data from your hard drive. Now it doesn't really recognize my Axiom 25 on the first try. But what I wanted to say here, when you play your keyboard in staccato, you will hear a less sustained sound. Notice that it like dies away, and then at the end, at the very end of the release, which is 100, it like goes a little bit slower and does that little echo sound. So anyways, you can also go ahead and save that if you want to and name it something else, and then you have that sound available to you. But let's keep going. Let's keep it at the plug, and let's go to the effects section. And now we see the effects that we have already. We do have a delay already, so that's why we kind of accentuated the delay with the little tweaks that we did before. And we also have a mod effects there. So the first thing that I want to do, let's just concentrate on the delay. Okay, so I have the delay here, and let's go. Let's see. I'm trying to look for some maybe the feedback. I don't know. Actually, let's just add something new. Let's go to the here. Let's go to the delay. Actually, let's just go to. I thought I already had. Yeah, just we're doing real time here, so I apologize. There should be some presets here. Let's do that. Let's go to a preset. Let's just go to a delay preset so that we can. Let's go to the slapback delay preset. So just notice how things change. Now let's just play that. And coupled with the changes that we did here to the cutoff and the envelope, notice how that gave it a different feeling. Let's play a few notes. So that has a different impact on the sound. It made it a little bit brighter. And it also definitely accentuates the delay. It's a more noticeable delay. And I think that's because our rates are all the way on both channels. So the delay is being applied at the smallest levels of the tempo that we have. There's kind of a little vibrato there too. Okay, so now let's go back to the performance control knobs. Let's go back to that. Let's start closing this example. I want to do some other things, and I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna adjust the resonance. And but I'm gonna be like playing one note. Let's just pick that note, and I'm gonna start. Let's just like hold the note. So just one very simple parameter, your resonance, can let you, I don't know if you kind of had the same idea I had, there's a kind of making a sweep here with like up and down sweep. Just one parameter coming from an existing preset, and we can do something with that. Now let me just double click here the resonance to bring it back to the default value, 50%. Let's do the same for the cutoff envelope, and now those are resetted. Let's just give it a quick listen. It sounds nice, you know. It's again, we're just concentrating here, doing subtle changes in a particular preset. Now let me see what I wanna cover now. Let's do let's work with the sources. Let's try to swap a source and then tweak the sound. We're at the global level up here, right? And then let's go to, let's see, we have the 12th string is actually a sample itself as a 12 string plug. It's in A, and then source D is not even turned on, it's not active, but there's an additive there. And then we have two saw waves for B and C. So we're actually just using A, B, and C. Now let's go to A. Let's just change A, and let's go to low BA. Let's go to complex, and let's see, what do I want? 80s notch. Let's go with 80s notch. And now let me just play the keyboard. Definitely an 80s synth sound. It's a very classic synth, right? You remember from the 80s. I'm dating myself, but I actually just was born in the 80s, so it's not that I remember it because I lived it, or I remember all the music that was playing in the 80s, but I did check it out at some point in my life. Yeah, let's see. Let's go to B, and let's use a different waveform. Let's do a pulse wave for B. And I'm gonna keep pressing the same note as I do some more changes. Let's do another saw vintage. I could also import some audio if I wanted and make it even more distinctive. Let's turn on D. I can make that effect more pronounced, less pronounced. And now I have my own thing. I like it. I will do a save as and save it as something else and add it to the presets. Another simple way of making some noticeable changes and giving it your own twist. Now let me go to let's do something different now. Let's try to mute a source and then use a partial preset. Let's go to I'm gonna go to File, and then let's do Clear. Let's just bring chaos here. Let's start from scratch, and let's do the 12 string presets again. And then let's go to A, and let's see, what do I want to do here? Actually, let's just mute that. So now we have these two saw waves, and let's just play the keyboard. So now we don't have that pluck. So now it's just like, so now I need to sustain or hold the note to actually listen to the result. So what I'm trying to say here is that muting sources is also a good way of practicing and adjusting source settings, because it kind of will allow you to focus on how the sound is made up, like what really gives the sound its name. To be quite honest, in this example, it's very easy because we're bringing these 12 strings. It's a string, and the pads are named in such a way to also give you that impression, right? It's like, so source A obviously gives it that that string characteristic, if we turn it off, we're just dealing with 2 saw waves, and now we no longer have that. And that would also help you when you create your own sounds to say, okay, so what do I want to add, or how am I gonna give the sound its distinction? So now here in the perform area, let's say let me see, let's just play the pads. Let me turn that off again. So that sounds still Morse, but it's still a saw wave. And it doesn't matter how much I do that staccato type of keyboard playing. I really need to hold them. So I mean, let's do a chord. It's kind of funny, kind of funky, but it's also nice. So let's now work with the envelope actually, and tune that a little bit. Let's drag source B's tuning knob to -24 semis. Or something of your preference. Let's do let's click the volume, because that's where we have the modulation and also on the tuning. See how it's showing me how that is composed. What I need to actually, if I double click them, I'll bring them to the center. So now in let's see, I'm gonna change the attack, so make that to 0, and the hold and the decay and the sustain. Let's just keep the sustain where it's at, but the release, make it the release smaller. So now, since I have a lot of notes here, mid notes, volume is a little low. What am I doing with D? What the hell? Yeah, I'll probably have to deal with the master. So that's kind of a basic bass sound from you know, synthetic, right? So you can take that as some advice, right? If you tweak your just by tweaking your attack, hold, sustain, you know, your envelope itself, just by tweaking a little bit, you're gonna get to a bass sound pretty quickly, and you can save that if you like it, obviously, and make it part of your presets. And let's see, now I'm gonna be closing here in a minute, guys. Sorry, I didn't really want to structure it. I wanted to make it more like just some live editing, just doing some off-the-cuff stuff, and get you that feeling after learning everything and every parameter, or being exposed to it, to see that you don't need to feel afraid, and you can be confident in changes and stuff, and achieving new sounds with just doing simple tweaks without just making a lot of distorted stuff. So let's go to the filters real quick. Let me turn on the filter 1 and let's see. Let's just change. Let me play that, right? I'm gonna bring the plug back. Allow. Let's change the preset. Actually, no. I wanna do some distortion on the first filter. I'm gonna do a format, or maybe a Mac, maybe a notch. Let's put a notch. And now, so changing the cutoff a little bit, but I need to make it. So I'm cutting off some of the lows. I can cut some of the highs or boost them. Let's see. Let's change this from. Let's see what effect does the parallel serial knob have on this specific type of sound. It does have a very marked effect. Let's bring it. Let's just turn off the second filter. Bring this all the way down. And let's see what that does again. So now with those two tweaks, it sounds again back as the plug, right, as a string guitar. But as I moved this more to the serial area, it even sounded, to me at least, even more like a real guitar. And that was just by turning off the second filter, adding a notch filter. So now for the second filter, let's say we want a high pass. Make it a little bit brighter. The resonance is modulated. Again, as I go back to the serialize, kind of get a little bit more of a, and I'm sending filter 1 all to the effects, so that's why I keep like, let's say, and I think that's good enough for this one, for this video, because I just wanted to cover kind of all of the little modules. And you would say, well, you didn't do much in the sources or filters or anything. I did not. I just did some very subtle tweaks here and there, but that was the intent. So you can get a feeling. I hope that I achieved the goal that I wanted with this tutorial, which was that you can just do very little tweaks on the, and do them in the different modules, and especially the performance section. If you're dealing with the presets, the performance section is going to give you a lot of power to tweak and create your own and make something different. And always make sure that if you achieve something that you like, just do a save as and make it a preset, and that way you don't have to recreate that again. There's no point in that, you know. It just makes you slower. It just, you know, of course, if that's how you like to work, you just always want to work from scratch and be surprised and see where your creativity lands you. That's fine too. That's great, actually. But if you really like something that you just tweak some parameters around from a preset and you like the sound that comes up, adding it to your presets, it's gonna ensure that you have that in your toolbox, right? Like in your Batman belt, like I want to call it. And then you have it available anytime. And especially if it's like a signature sound that you want to create, it's always going to be there and you can always rely on it. And that's all for this tutorial. In the next video, I'm going to go a little bit into creating sounds from scratch in Alchemy. So you you want to pay attention to that one, because I honestly don't know how what I'm gonna concentrate upon or what specific sound I want to make. I probably just want to keep it the same as I did with this tutorial, in just doing off the cuff stuff, try to create, at least try to get to a specific sound warmness point. Not saying I'm gonna create this specific bass or synth sound, just a general characteristic of a sound created from scratch in Alchemy, or attempt to, and then hopefully you will, with this video and that next video, feel even more confident in dealing with Alchemy and creating your own stuff and adding it to the presets and your workflow. Okay, so as usual, I want to thank to everyone that has subscribed recently. At the time of this recording, we were at 120 subscribers, which was way better than what I expected for this point of the year in particular. So again, please, if you liked any of my videos that are there, please subscribe, and let's keep in touch and let's keep making music. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.